Give it up to Kristine Schwartz.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming out today. Oh, it's always fun to hear yourself on a microphone. I have so much to do with Christmas. What about you? There's so many things to do. You guys, what if you didn't have to do anything? What if you could just be? We're going to talk about personal brand tonight. But what if it wasn't about doing more, and it was more about being more of who you are? Am I right? It's not about creating self. It's about revealing yourself. What is a personal brand? A personal brand is a reflection of who you are. It ultimately is the magic that each of you bring to the world. And truly, it's the ongoing process of visibly communicating and expressing yourself in a clear brand to other people. So, when we start our careers, when we get into our businesses, there's this idea of fake it till you make it. And although that's great, it's a mask, is it not? And this mask, unfortunately, what ends up happening is we mask ourselves as successful, we mask ourselves as ambitious people, we never want people to see our vulnerability, because what we have been told is that if we are vulnerable, we are weak. And that is how we've been conditioned by society, am I right? Masking is built from a place of fear. It creates inauthenticity. It also creates overwhelm, and it creates this space of feeling out of your authenticity. You feel inauthentic. Instead, what I'm proposing is if we move from a place of conviction, if we stand in our power and in our truth and who we truly are, we're aware of what we really want, and we're going to go deeper into this in a moment. We're open, we're receptive, and we come from a place of certainty when it comes to our values. Now, all of a sudden, we can showcase what we stand for. And as entrepreneurs, in careers, business owners, it is very important that people understand what you stand for. This creates authentic expression, whether it's in person like an event like this, or it's on social media, whether it's on your websites. It shows people that you have greater devotion to your brand and what you believe in, your purpose, and what that creates is magnetic energy. People want to be a part of that. It builds deeper connection with others, and ultimately more joy in life, in your business, and with yourself and with others, because you're being more of who you are. The more you are, the easier, the safer, the more aligned, the more magnetic you become. Once you begin to let go of who you think you're supposed to be, because you've been told so many things, once you let go of and realize that you can just be who you actually are, you're able to do the inner work and actually realize, what are my deepest goals? Without the judgment of what is and is not possible. Because we are the ones that create the standards for ourselves, right? When you allow all of you to be seen, you become more magnetic. Living authentically and speaking your point of view, although can sometimes be very scary, is going to impact you in a positive way, both in your personal and professional life. When you embrace who you truly are, you begin to magnetize the room. People want to talk to you. They see you in your power, and they want to have a conversation with you. The magnetic effect of authenticity, what actually starts to happen is people can feel that energy. They want to be a part of your confidence. They want to talk to you. Your devotion to your brand, to your message, to your impact, to your clients, that's something that people want to be a part of. Speaking your mind feels so much more aligned because you're speaking from here versus here. You live as you rather than a mask of what you want others to see. So the reflection is, what is the mask that you have been wearing? What's the mask you've been wearing? Because it's a protection mechanism. It's holding you back. So how do we become more of you? Questions to ask yourself. Where do you hold your back? Where do you hold yourself back? Where do you keep yourself small? Out of the spotlight, where do you try not to draw attention? Where could you be more open? Where could you be more real, more raw, more vulnerable? Where could you be more genuine in your work, in your connections? What's holding you back from that truest expression? Because that's what people want to connect with. They don't want anything that's fake. That's what we scroll right past. What do you want to be known for? If you want to become opportunity ready in 2025, the people out there that already know you, that's great. They can most likely articulate what you do. However, if you do not work on your personal brand, you're relying on a broken telephone system to show others who you are, to refer you. That doesn't sound fun. That sounds awful, to be quite honest. So when someone looks you up, because we all know we all creep people, and that's the reality of all of it, it's your chance to influence customers' perception of you and the stories that they're telling themselves, the narratives that they have of you in their head. So you can position your value and your expertise so that you can control the narrative of who you actually are. So what do you want people to say about you when you're not in the room? And that's the big question, right? Building your personal brand. The first thing, I know 2025 is coming up very shortly, and so you're probably thinking about goals. As you're thinking about your goals, your personal brand will support your goals. It will amplify where you're going. So take an inventory of where it is you want to go, and the next step is ultimately how can your personal brand amplify those goals? The benefits of building your personal brand are huge. Again, showing more of who you are is actually establishing a greater sense of self and confidence. You're going to be more of who you are, not less. You're going to lead with greater impact. You're going to live with more integrity inside of your values. You're going to easily differentiate yourself from the next person. Because every single person here has a job or a career that somebody else can do. And so it's up to you to differentiate. Your customers have to know, like, and trust you to buy from you. We all know that sales is all about trust. And so your personal brand will build that credibility. You're more likely to attract more business, and you're ultimately more likely to make more money. So here's the magic brand triangle. We're going to go over a couple of these tonight. What's really important here, and where we're going to start, is right over in the corner. What do you stand for? What is your brand message? What do you sell? What is your offer? What do you deliver? What are your values? From there, how do you express it? How do you build credibility? Showcase your expertise. Provide education. Establish your authority. Use storytelling to build connection. And from there, how are you expressing your person, your personal brand, when it comes to your mission and what you believe in and how you impact your opinions, how you polarize, how you attract, and your personality and what makes you relatable? It doesn't have to be complicated, my friend. Ultimately, you need to decide and put your foot in the ground and decide what you want to stand for. How do you want people to perceive you? And consistently communicate that message on repeat until it gets exhausting. That's the reality of all of it. So, key elements. Who? What do you stand for? Your brand message. That's also your brand values, right? Your brand values should define the experience people have when they engage with you. These can all be expressed on social media, I want to be very clear, and on your website. So take a picture if you feel like you want to. What? The expertise and education, building credibility and authority in your space, showcasing your knowledge. You can also borrow authority. Regardless, you have to show people that you know what you're talking about. From there, storytelling and connecting. Leverage the power of storytelling to show how different you are from others in the industry. And then the why, the mission. The impact you create should be felt. It is an emotional connection. People buy with their emotions. So That impact you create should be felt through your products and services. Personality and vulnerability. I'm coming back to showing all of yourself. What makes you different? What is your unfair advantage? How can you be more human? How can you be more relatable? What do you stand for? Let's start here. Identify what you want your brand to be known for and the specific problem that you solve. This should be very easy for you because this is what you do every day. People pay attention to their problems. So create a brand message that clearly articulates how you serve, all right, and builds brand recognition. From there, you have 3 seconds to capture their attention. And on social media, it might be 1 at this point. So make sure you know what you're talking about and make sure you can do it really quickly. Take the friction out. Make it easy for your customers to understand what you do and who you work with. And ultimately, without that clear message, you're going to blend in. So if you leave here with anything tonight, be able to articulate what you do and do it quickly and do it well. Okay? A couple different things here. I want you to pay attention to number 3, especially if you're doing in-person networking. The first one, this is your I help statement. If you haven't nailed this one down, this is where you want to start. I help. Who is your target customer? Get what is the result through, this is the process, the framework, the system, the way in which you do it, without what is the thing that they don't want. It's very, very simple. If you want to turn this into more of a mission, I believe, what does your customer deserve? What are the benefits? And the best way to get them there is through this result, is through this process or framework. And the last one, do you know how this target customer suffers or struggles with this particular problem? Yeah, so I help them get this result without that thing. I mean, that feels pretty easy to say. I think we all can do that by the end of the night, right? So this one is super easy for in-person. This one should probably go on your website, just saying. People don't buy goods and services, they're gonna buy magic. They want to connect with you. They buy relationships, stories, and magic. Storytelling. This one's great. Stories are remembered up to 22 times more than stats and data. Do you guys remember the caveman? No, we were all dead, or we weren't even alive. The point is that they communicated through stories, and those stories were actually pictures on walls. Those stories have survived thousands upon millions upon thousands of years, however many it might be, right? The point is that people remember the stories. So when it comes down to it, use those stories for persuasion. Persuade clients to take on a journey, what it looks like with you. You can do the behind the scenes, showcase your work, do the social proof, show the testimonials. Great brands hover around the 5 to 7 topics. That's what they hover around. So if you feel like you're repeating yourself, that's okay. These are built from your framework, your process, the way you support your clients. You can attract, you can polarize using the edutain concept. Educate and entertain. Your personal brand is all about you. So let's define what makes your brand unique. Your unfair advantage. I'm going to give you guys a takeaway on this one, but what's really important here, how to find it. Your unfair advantage are the things that make you different. They are the things that cannot be copied, bought, or sold. They are the things that cannot be learned overnight. They are the skills, assets, and experiences that create the special blend of amazingness that is you. So, I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Reese Witherspoon, we all know that she's been in movies. She had a hard, rough patch. Through that rough patch, she leveraged her credibility as an actress to build a book club and a media production company. What did she end up doing? She geniusly coined that to be in her book club, aka sell millions of dollars and lots of copies. She owns the rights to those films, and then she sold them all to Hulu and basically sold her company for almost $1 billion. Brilliant. We all know Oprah Winfrey. One of her unfair advantages was she went through child abuse, she had weight struggles, and media backlash. What are some of the strengths there? It allowed her to become one with the audience. It allowed her to resonate with them. They felt like she was human. They could connect with her. Jessica Alba, unfair advantage. She had severe allergies as a kid, so she ends up creating The Honest Company, which is the most transparent company for goods versus conventional products. She found a gap in a market. She leveraged her unfair advantage, and now is a champion for change. You have untapped potential. And what that means is once you get to know your unfair advantage, you're going to be able to expand into what is possible and tap further into your own unique gifts. Sometimes outside influences tend to dim our light. And what's important here is that things can feel unrealistic or unachievable. By tapping into more of your gifts, not only will you stand out, but you're going to build a brand around you that you enjoy, that you love. So here's your next steps. I want you guys to identify the mask. Because once you identify the mask and how you're holding yourself back, you're going to be able to have more self-awareness of when you're doing it, and you're going to be able to more fully express yourself online inside of your brand and connect with your people, your target customer. Identify where you want to go in 2025. Get really clear on how that personal brand is going to support your goals and amplify you and help you set yourself apart. From there, master your brand triangle and what we talked about tonight, and clarify your unfair advantage, and then use it to your advantage. Thank you.